So I finally arrived in Grenada. That was a very long trip now. Never had such a journey like this. So what happened? The whole trip was supposed to be the 28th of July, leaving Curacao and reaching Grenada late evening around 8:30. So our flight in Curacao was delayed 6.5 hours, and with that the connection flights were gone. It happened that I ended up in St. Martin quite late. It was after 9 p.m. in St. Martin. At that time I should have been actually already in Grenada. So 3 days stuck in St. Martin. It could be even worse. At least we still had accommodation, we still had food. Yeah, it's not nice, but at least you can wait. Then suddenly, yesterday, that is the 30th, there was a change of plans, and my plan was rescheduled to leave the 30th from St. Martin to Antigua, which is not Grenada. I arrived in Antigua yesterday evening, the 30th of July. There was nothing arranged. The agent of Win Air didn't know anything, and it was no connection flight booked, no hotel booked, nothing. So I was stuck at the immigration because I didn't have any connection flight, of course, logically, and I didn't have accommodation. So of course they stopped me. That's very normal. So I had to book something on my own at the immigration, at the airport, during the immigration check, and trying to figure out how my journey will continue. I booked now for myself a flight, another flight. Yeah, finally today in the morning I was able to board a flight from Liat airline, leaving Antigua at 6:30 in the morning, and again doing some island hopping, going to St. Vincent and then Barbados, and from Barbados to Grenada. But at least I arrived today in the morning, the 31st, at 10:30. I landed in Grenada. But at this view you forget all the trouble of traveling and enjoy the moment. Yes, I finally arrived after my funny trip through the Caribbean, and finally on the boat, finally enjoying a beautiful anchorage. This is here around the island, is between Grenada and Carriacou. And yes, it was a calm night, beautiful morning, and lots of nature. So after on the island we got a little chance to continue sailing to Carriacou, even though we didn't have very much of favorable conditions, but at least a little bit was possible. It was kind of funny. Either we had the wind directly on the bow, that means we would have to tack a lot, which did not really fit in our schedule because we had certain distance to make to reach our destination. Or we had too little wind, which was almost impossible to sail, so that's why we had to use the engine quite a lot to reach our planned destination on time. So after reaching Carriacou, we dropped the anchor and went on shore to stock up some food. That is Tyrrell Bay in Carriacou, and it's quite full, so we had to anchor quite far outside, but it was still a nice spot to get provisioning. After we got our stuff, we continued to Sparrow Bay in Carriacou and choose this beautiful anchorage and spend the night over there. We were just the only boat in the bay, and we used the chance to do some beach barbecue on this beautiful beach with black sand and enjoying the sunset. It was just nice. So the next morning we had to sail back to Grenada because we had to change our boat from the monohull to a catamaran, And due to my delay, we had a shorter time with the monohull. On our way back, we visited Sandy Island. Actually, we had plans to stop there, but it was so windy and choppy, so we decided to skip it and just sail further. On our way back, we got some rain in between, and Grenada presented itself quite rainy in these days, but that's the reason why the island is so green. On the other hand, we also got some nice rainbows, and that was beautiful. So after switching the boat now to the catamaran, this one was a Fontaine Pajot 42 feet. Before that we had a Beneteau 40 feet. Our plans were to reach the Tobago Cays in the Grenadines, so we had to go up all the way to Carriacou again for clearance, to clear out, and then further to Union Island to clear in before entering the Tobago Cays. As we finally reached the Tobago Cays, just before entering the reef area, we got some heavy rain with almost no visibility, so we had to circle around before, because inside the reef, if you can't see well, it's just too dangerous. And we decided to wait outside till the rain passes. Luckily it was just a few minutes, but yeah, it was short and heavy. And shortly after we got some sunshine and could enter in a safe way, without heavy gusts and without poor visibility. Finally entering the reef area, we found our spot where we wanted to stay and got a buoy and stayed for 2 nights in the Tobago Cays. The Tobago Cays also marked the highlight of our trip, so after spending some time here snorkeling with turtles and enjoying this beautiful place, we started our journey back slowly and visited Salt Whistle Bay and then back to Union Island. This is the beach where they do the barbecue in the evening. In the past it was really nice. Now especially after Beryl, in my opinion, the people are overcharging a little bit for the service you get, but in the past it was really good. But anyway, still it was a nice experience having barbecue on a beach of an uninhabited island. After 2 nights in the Tobago Cays, we decided to sail to Mairea, where we spent 1 night, and while we were enjoying our sunset, a huge catamaran of 77 feet passed just behind us and dropped his hook next to us. After the clearance on Union Island, we continued back to Carriacou and just got the first bay we could reach, which was quiet and calm. So we dropped our hook and stayed there for the night and enjoyed this beautiful view, the beautiful sunset, and just a beautiful anchorage. The next morning we went to Tyrrell Bay to the immigration to clear in Carriacou. So after clearance we just went around the next corner basically and got to the next tiny island. This one is called White Island. Is right in front of Carriacou, and we stayed over there for the rest of the day and the following night, and then continued back to Grenada the morning after. Reaching back in Grenada, we just went to the next anchorage and spent the night in that bay, and with that my time came to disembark the boat and travel back to Curacao. And with that the vacation came to an end.